From Johnny Depp leaving behind the wizarding world over serious allegations, to Shia LaBeouf pulling old tricks out of the bag for Olivia Wilde's Don't Worry, Darling. These are actors who were forced to quit halfway through filming. I'll start with the drunken pirate who was unable to steer his ship for long, Johnny Depp. When he first joined the Fantastic Beasts franchise, fans were excited to see him take on the role of the Dark Wizard, Gellert Grindelwald. The first two films of the prequel series, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Crimes of Grindelwald, did well. Things took a wild turn, however, when the drama between the actor and his ex-wife, Amber Heard, exploded on the front pages of every newspaper around the world. Back in 2018, the actor filed a lawsuit against Newsgroup newspapers, claiming The Sun had published an article about him that labeled him as a wife-beater. Depp called the publication out for defaming him. This was a significant blow to Johnny's reputation. After some back and forth at Warner Brothers in November of 2020, he was forced to step down from his role in one of the hottest fantasy franchises in the world. Not only was Depp cut from the third installment, Warner was in damage control mode, and Mads Mikkelsen stepped in to replace him. Fans were devastated since Johnny was already working on the film. However, the studio was determined to take him out of the equation. This wasn't the first time in cinema history that top executives had to save face by replacing their star actors. Look at Kevin Spacey's role in All the Money in the World. In November of 2017, in a last-minute the show must go on type of situation, cinematographer Dariusz Wolski received a call from director Ridley Scott, declaring an all-hands-on-deck situation. Kevin was accused by more than 20 men of sexual misconduct. With the clock ticking down to the movie's release, Scott had to do the unthinkable and replace Kevin with someone else. Christopher Plummer stepped into the role of Paul Getty, and every scene with Spacey was cut. Other cast members, like Michelle Williams and Mark Wahlberg, came back in for reshoots, and the final version was partially improvised based on the dynamic between the actors. Given that Plummer was 88 at the time and Spacey was 58, there were lots of changes the crew had to adapt to. Despite the tight deadline, it all came together nicely. In the end, All the Money in the World saved the production by reshooting scenes on a time crunch. One project that wasn't so lucky was 2.5 Men. The show was extremely successful with Charlie Sheen on board, but it's no secret that he was always in the news for his erratic behavior. Not only was he accused of hiring multiple sex workers, but he was also arrested on several assault charges, which led to a rehab stint for his insatiable appetite for cocaine. While shooting season 8 in 2011, the producers put the series on hold so Charlie could clean up his act. But boy, did that backfire. Charlie refused to enter a treatment facility and fired his private sobriety coach. At that point, Charlie's blood was boiling. He verbally attacked executive producer Chuck Lorre, and that was the final nail in the coffin for him. As you can see, some stars are forced to quit projects because of their own shortcomings. Other times, they have to leave because they don't have a choice. Take Zendaya, for instance. Starring in an Aaliyah biopic would have been perfect for the star. However, it wasn't written in the stars for her. The Euphoria actress had barely gotten through a few rehearsals, except for a few test shots here and there, before she decided to quit the role altogether. As soon as she landed the role, Aaliyah fans criticized her for not being black enough. When Zendaya walked away, people thought it was because of the backlash. But her decision to quit had nothing to do with that. It turns out the main reason she stepped away is that she didn't get the family's blessing to take on the role. Zendaya listed many reasons why she left the role in a video. They ranged from production issues to complications with movie rights. She felt like none of the behind-the-scenes issues were being handled very well. Despite giving the biopic her best shot, Zendaya wasn't okay with it and pulled out. She deserves credit for knowing when to quit, but the same can't be said for our next star. Colin Firth was forced to part ways with 2014's Paddington after hitting a major career roadblock. What's crazy is that Colin nearly voiced the entire movie before he realized that it wasn't working out for him. Talk about a total waste of time. Both Colin and the producers agreed that the actor's voice was too regal for the bear. The reason this was so bizarre was that the movie was done and dusted. After he was replaced as the voice of the famed bear, Colin released a statement saying that it was definitely bittersweet to leave the role, and that it was a sad realization that the character wouldn't have his voice. I guess Colin's a good sport for leaving behind a project like that halfway. Let me tell you, when producers tried getting rid of our next star, things got intense. Mark Salling made a name for himself by being the bad boy in the musical comedy drama Glee. I guess he took that role way too seriously and ended up becoming the villain in real life. Mark was caught with disturbing content in his possession involving children. Because of this, he was cut from Adi Shankar's miniseries Gods and Secrets, but not before he tried to harm himself and take his own life. Salling was later obliged to register as a offender and was forced to quit the show. The director said he'd be personally paying for the reshoots and hoped Mark would find inner peace later in his life. Speaking of needing to find inner peace, it looks like Armie Hammer could use some of that too. Armie was set to star alongside Jennifer Lopez in Lionsgate's Shotgun Wedding, when a series of leaked messages revealed some freaky details about the actor's intimate life. His wildest fantasies went viral, and not only included cannibalism, but also some very disgusting fetishes. It was a no-brainer to have Hammer removed from the project. In addition to being crucified in the public eye, some people threatened his children. So, for the sake of his family's safety, Armie decided he wasn't going to shoot a movie knowing people wanted to come after him. He stepped down from riding shotgun with J.Lo. While Hammer had a legitimate excuse to walk away, Shia LaBeouf thought it'd be fun to roll the dice and pull the good old, "you can't fire me, I quit" trick. Director and actor Olivia Wilde's movie, Don't Worry, Darling, has been the center of a whole lot of controversy. Most of the issues surrounding the film go all the way back to the Transformers actor, who had his own prima donna moment. There's a lot of he said, she said here. On one hand, Olivia claimed she had fired LaBeouf after film star Florence Pugh said she felt uncomfortable working with him. But at the same time, he said Olivia didn't fire him and that he was the one who quit the project instead. I love Shia LaBeouf. The guy's a terrific actor, but I call bull on that. Before Harry Styles was cast as the main lead in the film, he was the one who was supposed to play Jack. Olivia stuck to her story and said that Shia's whole acting process required a lot of combative energy. She didn't have enough room to entertain him and his diva-like tendencies, so she wanted to create a safe and trusting environment on set and didn't have any time for his antics. But word on the street is she was still willing to compromise and have him back for the film. In a video message to Shia days before his official exit, Wilde said that she wasn't willing to give up on him and wanted to figure things out, but the damage was already done, and Shia peaced out. So there you have it. From Shia LaBeouf pulling some old tricks out of the bag for Olivia Wilde's Don't Worry, Darling, to Johnny Depp leaving behind the wizarding world due to serious allegations, those were actors who were forced to quit halfway through filming.